Alright guys, today I want to do a little reaction video going over this video that both the LTA North and LTA South had posted a couple days ago, where they talk about all the new stuff you need to know about the LTA overall in 2025, where we have the format, show matches, fantasy, stream, all that different stuff, which I do think is really cool. I'm happy to see Mark Zimmerman's face back here. I think he did a really awesome job as commissioner and, doing a lot of cool things back with the LCS last year. Happy to see him back because I know some people were like, oh, how's this going to work out with the LCS going to the LTA and all that. But we do get to hear from him directly and specifically with this, and I think hopefully this will be a good way to kind of set the stage for the start of the LCS season coming very, very soon, and hopefully give you guys a lot of helpful and useful information if you've missed out on this. So let's see what Mark Z and the crew have to say about the LTA in 2025.
Hello, and welcome to the 2025 LTA Address. If you're joining from the LATAM or Brazil community, it's nice to meet you. I'm Mark Zimmerman, the LTA Commissioner. If you're from NA, we're already acquainted.
Olá pessoal, eu sou Igor Correia, líder de produto e responsável pela LTA Sul. É prazer falar com todos vocês e sejam bem-vindos à LTA 2025.
The LTA Address is here to share all relevant information for fans at the start of the new season, as well as dive deeper into our goals and reasoning. We'll hit on Split 1 and 2 formats and objectives, how this updates awards and titles, and tease some cool LTA features coming this year. Now, before all of that though, I want to take a moment to acknowledge how different 2025 is. It's no exaggeration to say that these are our biggest changes any of our ecosystems have faced before. One thing I can guarantee will stay the same is that myself and everyone working on the LTA across the Americas is committed to delivering an incredible experience. Our two pillars of fan first and innovation will continue to be our foundation into the future. The season unofficially kicks off on January 18th with the LTA North and South draw shows. We will draw the first round of matchups and feature a Welcome to Noxus show match between pros and more. This sets the stage for the LTA opening weekend on January 25th as both conferences celebrate the start of their 3 split journeys. If you missed the explainer video earlier, Split 1 is a high stakes right from the beginning with best of 3 conference play. It's the debut of Fearless Draft in Tier 1 for the Americas, meaning any champ played by either team is banned for the following games. Win 2 best of 3s to earn top 4 and advance to the Americas stage, lose 2 best of 3s, and you're out.
So I think it's actually pretty interesting. I think there's some cool stuff going on here. Obviously, the Split 1 is going to be Fearless. I still don't really know how this is going to work out in competitive. Some people seem to be big fans of it. Some people say that it actually makes the competitive experience worse overall and stuff. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. I at least think it's going to be different. And hey, if it sucks, it's just one split and they won't bring it back. If it's fun, maybe they'll expand it further. Who really knows what's going to go on there? We'll have to wait and see. I do also really like that we have this draw show coming up. I think that's kind of cool. I do love, all the different opportunities to get more content, more hype, and more build up and stuff like that. Obviously, some of my favorite times of the year are like the Worlds draw show and the quarterfinal draw show for Worlds and stuff like that. So I do think those little mini exciting kind of build up and hype moments are fun. So I think that's fun, especially even though this one is, much lower stakes than something like Worlds or whatever. But then also a show match is cool. Obviously, over in North America, we've been really jealous of all the cool stuff Europe has been able to do as far as show matches and streamer matches and all these big things. And obviously, hey, I don't think this show match is going to be as big over here, but it's at least something where hopefully we'll get to highlight some pros, some content creators, all that cool stuff, and just get people a little bit hyped up and excited, and also unveil the new season 15 and competitive overall as far as North America goes, which I think will be really fun. So I think a lot of cool stuff there overall. Really definitely excited for Fearless Draft. Again, that draw show is just 2 days away now. I'm recording this on January 16th. Don't know exactly when this is going to be coming out, but the draw show is very, very, very close, so we'll have to see how that all goes, and yeah, this thing's going to be kicking off. But like you said, huge changes coming in 2025. The biggest changes LCS has probably ever seen in quite some time, for sure the biggest changes since at least franchising or something like that. So this is going to be an interesting year. I don't know if it's going to be good, bad, terrible, amazing, somewhere between or whatever, but it's definitely going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be different.
A LTA Sul dará aos nossos amigos do Norte uma calorosa recepção ao sediar pela primeira vez a competição entre as conferências na nossa recém-reformada Riot Games Arena São Paulo. 4 times de cada conferência, frente a frente, em uma chave de eliminação simples, sem chance para erro. O vencedor da final, que será uma MD5 no modo Fearless Draft, representará as Américas no novo torneio internacional, o First Stand.
So that's a big part. Obviously, eventually the LTA North and South are going to come together with one team. Whoever wins this whole thing going to First Stand. And I think this is going to create so many storylines. I know I'm still a little bit iffy on the whole LTA North and South. I don't really know how it's all going to fit together, if it's going to fit together well, whatever. But I do know, especially the first couple times that these regions match up, especially the North American teams, obviously being, the major region in previous seasons, are going to have so much on the line, and it's going to be, hey, is the LTA North really dominant over the LTA South? And then if any of these LTA North teams lose, especially, the big spending teams like your Team Liquids or something like that, they're going to be memed into oblivion. They're going to be trash talked so much. So obviously the LTA North has a lot to lose, and they're the ones flying down to Brazil to compete, in this split one tournament where the top 4 teams are going to be competing from each region. Going to be a lot on the line. Like I said, instant storylines, instant trash talk, instant everything. But I do eventually hope, obviously, that the North and South are able to work together and help each other improve, and that competitive rivalry and nature and everything will be better for both of them at the end of the day. But man, that's going to be spicy, that first kind of playoffs or bracket or whatever of the NA teams heading down to Brazil and giving the LTA South that home field advantage. It's going to be fun.
Our goal with Split 1 is to start with a bang and give fans a taste of one of the coolest parts of the LTA, the cross-conference competition. We want to get to this North versus South rivalry quickly, but fairly, which is why we opted for this tournament approach. 2 key results for this split are fan satisfaction with Fearless and peak viewers during the North versus South clashes, indicating fan investment in these cross-conference moments. This will also allow us to test the conference's competitiveness before the clash at the end of the year. Split 2, kicking off on April 5th, returns to a traditional form.
One thing that does suck a little bit about Split 1, and one thing that could end up being an issue or criticism of the whole thing as well, is like, a lot of teams, I guess not a lot of teams, since there's not really that many teams in each conference anymore, but, with 8 teams, top 4 advancing, there will be 4 teams that don't really get to play that much. Split 1 will be very, very, very short for the teams that don't actually qualify, and even teams that, like, get knocked out in the first round of the, bracket or whatever. So there is a possibility that your Split 1 will be very, very short-lived and not really even you'll get to experience that much League of Legends, which is a criticism, but then people, are also going to say, hey, skill issue, get good, win some games, whatever. But I could definitely see that being a criticism of the whole thing, and I definitely think I've seen that on like Twitter and Reddit and places already.
Format that allows fans to see all matchups multiple times, fostering rivalries, fandom, and deeper connections to the stories and personalities that will define the LTA. As the inaugural year brings together new audiences, players, and organizations, consistency in Split 2 ensures opportunities to discover new talent and celebrate familiar faces, while Split 1 and 3 introduce faster eliminations and exciting new formats. Each split's structure serves a distinct purpose, keeping the season fresh and engaging. We will retro on Splits 1 and 2 ahead of covering the goals for the thrilling new competitive format in Split 3, while closely monitoring community conversations to make sure that we can make adjustments as needed. For LTA North fans, I'm excited to say that in 2025, we'll be sharing the utilization of secondary stages with VCT Americas. You'll see the face-off look again during conference level play occasionally across the 3 splits. Along with a few other scheduling optimizations, this means we are able to eliminate gap weeks during conference stages. With all of these format changes,
I think that's a very, very big thing, and obviously that's been a huge criticism of the LCS the past couple seasons, how they've had to accommodate or kind of make room for Valorant in big ways, as far as getting the weekends taken away or having gap weeks and all this stuff that just takes away from the overall flow and nature of the season. Again, you want fans to get in the habit of tuning in to their favorite teams, their players, the matches on a weekly basis at the same times, on the same days, when everyone's available, when people aren't at work, when people are actually at home, and that has not been the case for the LCS the past couple of seasons. So getting those things worked out is just a no-brainer, and I think a really, really big thing. And like Mark Z said, they're going to be listening to the fans and hopefully making changes and being able to make sure this whole thing works out. And that's really why I think Mark Z does work so well as a commissioner, because he is a person who, once was a fan and now not necessarily a fan, a super fan, an inside fan, a guy who had a lot of knowledge and connections and knowledge of how things work behind the scenes and everything. But he does feel like he is somebody who understood what the fans were saying and understood, being a viewer of the product and all that stuff, and has kind of been able to work his way up through that lens, which I do think is a very, very valuable skill set and something that a lot of people from the inside who have been in the inside for years and years can't even necessarily have the same perspective as him. So I think that's one way he does things really, really well, and obviously I hope and think that he's going to continue to do that going forward in the future.
We relooked at awards and trophies. At a high level, our goal is to preserve the importance of historical achievements while providing opportunities to celebrate the new scope of the LTA. Check out the article for more details, as it's a little too long for the video. Much like splits, we want awards and trophies that are unique and build across the year. The last team standing at the start of the year will be the Split 1 victor, Split 2 will crown conference champions, and Split 3 will have conference champions and the LTA champion. Now, that's enough of...
So I think that's a cool thing because that's something they're worried about. I know some people made the comparison to like the LEC, where the LEC has like, so many trophies you can win in a single year. And if there's, 3 trophies you can win per year and MVPs and all these different individual awards and blah, 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 it starts to matter a lot less. The overall titles and things you've won and the achievements you've done matter a lot less. So having, just one LTA champion at the end of the year, that actually makes historical titles and historical achievements and everything matter a lot more. And it doesn't downgrade them. It doesn't, designify, whatever the word is, lower the significance of them. Or I'm just making up words at this point, but you do want those things to still feel valuable. You want them to hold up the historical significance, like he says, but also make people actually care about them going forward in the future, which is something you risk. Like, right, the LEC, I think, is walking a very, very fine line of those individual split titles. People seem to not really even care about them as much anymore. One, because G2 wins all the time, so that definitely hurts it a little bit as well. But also when you're handing out 3 trophies per season or whatever, that's a lot. Imagine having 3 Super Bowls or 3, whatever, Barclays titles per year. It would matter a lot less than having 1. So that's something that the LCS is being cognizant of, and I think that's cool.
Format talk, let's discuss some of the cool features coming your way in 2025. First up, some returning favorites. After the success of summer playoffs, Twitch subs are back for 2025, starting in Split 1 and running all throughout the year on all channels. You'll get a suite of Twitch features such as sub emotes, badges, ad reviewing, and sub chat, get broadcast recognition, and if you sub using paid or gifted subs while the broadcast is live, you can earn an in-game emote. We'll be sunsetting the Discord integration though, as we saw too low of an adoption rate for the amount of effort it took for those features to implement. However, we'll continue to look for additional opportunities for subs. Speaking of Twitch, the extension.
Pera aí, Mark. Como a extensão da Twitch foi desenvolvida no Brasil, deixa essa comigo. Nós ficamos muito felizes de ter criado essa experiência para os fãs brasileiros e mais felizes ainda em ver a extensão ser compartilhada com a América do Norte e o Worlds em 2024. Então, temos novidade. A extensão da Twitch estará de volta em todos os canais da LTA com um visual totalmente novo. Fique de olho, pois incluiremos novos recursos ao longo do ano.
I think the LEC just announced that they're going to be using something similar to this, or maybe the exact same thing in 2025 as well. Super cool. Obviously, awesome for the fans. It's something I would love to use, being able to click on whatever you want during the game and see whatever you want during the game. It's awesome. It's a really, really cool feature.
Another thing to keep an eye on is LTA merch. Like the splits, LTA merch offerings will evolve throughout the year. Split 1 focuses on rivalry with straightforward conference representation. Split 2 will look more inwardly at the teams that make up the conferences, before Split 3 merch refocuses on Americas and the LTA Championship. We'll also be having some special drops during the year, so if you come out to the RGA in Los Angeles or Sao Paulo, make sure to check out the store. Or grab it at our finals at... Sorry, not quite ready to share that yet.
Almost.
One last feature to tease coming soon is our very own Fantasy LTA product. A free-to-play fantasy offering is important to our communities, as it gives hardcore fans a chance to flex their knowledge about the entire LTA. We're aiming to launch it for NA, Brazil, and LATAM fans in Split 2, and we'll share more details when it's ready. We have so much more to share for the 2025 season, such as opening weekend theme days, maybe some Melanoxus, who can say, broadcast talent, co-streamers, etc. That's on top of all the teams hard at work updating arenas, graphics packages, music, and more. We think you'll love the LTA and can't wait to debut it to you.
Te vejo na LTA 2025. Ciao.
Bye.
So that's pretty much everything you need to know about the LCS season, or LTA season, that is going to be kicking off very, very soon. Again, that LTA draw show on January 18th. LTA begins January 25th, right around the corner. New year, new season, new look, new feel, all that good stuff. Can't wait to see what happens, and can't wait to be covering this stuff right here on this channel throughout the entire season. Pretty much every video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.